The landing module touches down with barely a whisper, nestled in a valley between towering pine trees. Zextrol waits as his sensors analyze the atmosphere, confirming it's safe with his specialized breathing apparatus. He steps onto Earth soil for the first time, 6-toed feet sinking slightly into the soft ground. The rich scent of organic matter fills his olfactory receptors, an overwhelming symphony of unfamiliar compounds that his filters struggle to categorize. Primitive ecosystem, but remarkably diverse, he notes into his recorder. Over 300 distinct organic compounds detected within 5 meters of landing site. The Scout moves with practiced efficiency, deploying automated sampling drones that hover silently above the forest floor. Their slender probes extract soil, plant matter, and insect specimens, cataloging each with quantum precision. Zextrol studies the real-time data flowing across his retinal display. The results are puzzling. Earth's biodiversity exceeds preliminary orbital scans by nearly 40%. A sudden movement catches his attention. A small, furry creature, his database identifies it as a fox, watches him from behind a fallen log. Instead of fleeing from the clearly alien presence, the animal studies him with unmistakable curiosity. The Scout makes a mental note. Earth's wildlife shows unusual adaptive intelligence. Zextrol moves deeper into the forest, his exosuit automatically adjusting to match the surrounding environment. The camouflage is unnecessary given humans' limited sensory capabilities, but standard protocol demands it. 3 kilometers from his landing site, he encounters his first sign of human presence, a crude path cutting through the wilderness. Encountering evidence of human activity. Proceeding with enhanced stealth protocols, he whispers into his recorder. Following the path leads him to an elevated position overlooking a small settlement. Zextrol activates his long-range observation equipment, focusing on the cluster of simple dwellings below. The infrared signatures of approximately 200 humans register on his scanner. He watches their movements, noting their inefficient patterns and seemingly chaotic social organization. Yet something doesn't align with standard conquest assessments. These humans, despite their technological limitations, have modified their environment with remarkable precision. Water management systems direct mountain runoff through a series of channels. Solar collection panels, primitive but functional, adorn many structures. Most notably, the humans have cultivated plant species in geometric patterns that maximize growth while minimizing resource expenditure. A small human offspring trips and falls near the settlement's edge. Zextrol zooms in, expecting to observe natural selection in action. In most species, weaker members are abandoned to conserve group resources. Instead, an adult human rushes to assist, applying a protective covering to the minor injury before returning the offspring to play activities. Curious resource allocation. Zextrol notes, species invests heavily in protection of even non-optimal genetic specimens. As darkness falls, Zextrol observes the settlement's nighttime activities. The humans gather in communal spaces, sharing nutrition, and engaging in what appears to be information exchange through vocalization. His translation algorithms struggle with the complexity of their communication, not just words, but subtle variations in tone and facial configurations that seem to carry additional meaning. Advanced social coordination detected, he reports. Hypothesis: humans compensate for physical limitations through complex social structures and knowledge transfer systems. Zextrol retreats to his ship as Earth's moon rises, casting silver light across the landscape. He begins compiling his initial assessment, but hesitates before sending it to the waiting fleet. Standard protocols suggest immediate classification as a Level 2 conquest target, but his instincts, honed across hundreds of worlds, urge caution. Request additional observation time, he finally transmits. Target species requires thorough assessment. Preliminary findings suggest non-standard threat profile. Dawn breaks with relentless rain as Zextrol huddled beneath a rocky overhang, his thermal regulator struggling against the mountain's biting cold. His wound pulses with each heartbeat, the human projectile having penetrated deeper than he initially assessed. The scout applies a healing compound from his emergency kit, wincing as the gel seals the damaged tissue. Medical report update. Human weapons utilize simple kinetic principles, but demonstrate surprising effectiveness against standard-issue armor. Recommend immediate equipment reassessment. He whispers into his portable recorder. Movement in the valley below catches his attention. The human pursuit team has deployed what appears to be a primitive tracking animal, a dog, according to his database. The creature lifts its head, sampling the air with remarkable sensory precision. Despite the rainfall washing away scent molecules, the animal turns directly toward Zextral's position and barks sharply. Incredible, the scout mutters. They've domesticated another species to enhance their own limited sensory capabilities. With no time to marvel at this evolutionary shortcut, Zextral activates his emergency propulsion system. The device, designed for short tactical jumps, propels him further up the mountainside. Landing awkwardly on a narrow ledge, he feels a sharp pain as his injured side impacts against stone. The humans below point upward, their voices carrying through the rain as they coordinate their pursuit. Zextral consults his terrain scanner. The mountain grows steeper ahead, with oxygen levels dropping to concentrations that should limit human function. He pushes onward, scaling a nearly vertical rock face with the assistance of his climbing enhancements. The thin atmosphere at this elevation would hinder most species, forcing them to retreat to more hospitable altitudes. To his astonishment, when he pauses to assess his progress, the humans continue their ascent. They've donned simple oxygen assistance devices, but otherwise rely on only basic climbing equipment. Their movements show signs of physical strain, yet they maintain steady progress with remarkable coordination. Two climbers anchor positions while a third advances, creating a leapfrog pattern of efficient upward movement. They're adapting to the vertical terrain without specialized physiology. Zextral records, his voice betraying his disbelief. Their tactical cooperation compensates for individual limitations. A sudden crack echoes through the mountains as loose rock gives way beneath one human's grip. The climber falls, suspended momentarily by a thin safety line. Rather than abandoning their vulnerable team member, the logical choice to ensure mission success, the remaining humans immediately halt their pursuit to secure their companion. Zextral seizes this opportunity to increase his lead, pushing deeper into the mountain range as night approaches. Temperature readings plummet to levels that would induce hibernation responses in most known species. The scout activates his thermal protection, conserving energy as he monitors the human's life signs through his scanner. To his growing concern, the humans establish a minimal shelter and continue to function despite the extreme cold. They share thermal resources, consume chemical energy supplements, and maintain vigilant watch patterns throughout the night. Most disturbing, their communication patterns indicate they're coordinating with a larger team via primitive radio waves, potentially surrounding his position. Final observation for this cycle, Zextral records as snowflakes begin to fall around him. Subject species demonstrates unprecedented environmental adaptability. Their cooperative social structure allows them to function in conditions that would incapacitate most Category 3 species. Most concerning, they appear to interpret setbacks not as deterrents but as challenges to overcome. He pauses, violet blood freezing on his scales as he adds a final note. They seem to be enjoying this hunt. Zextral studies the Mason family's evening routine with growing fascination. Thomas returns from his construction work, his muscular frame bearing evidence of physical labor that would be considered beneath dignity in hegemony society. Sarah prepares their evening meal, the chemical reactions of cooking filling the small dwelling with complex aromas. Their offspring, Emma, engages with an educational device she calls a tablet, absorbing information at a rate that seems excessive for a juvenile. "You're looking better today," Sarah remarks, noticing Zextral observing them from the doorway. His holographic disguise projects the appearance of a tall, thin human male with what they call a beard to mask his alien jawline. "Your medicine is effective," Zextrol responds carefully, still adjusting to the crude vocalizations of human speech. I appreciate your continued hospitality. Thomas gestures toward the simple wooden table. Join us for dinner. You've been with us nearly a week now, but you hardly eat. The scout hesitates, having subsisted on nutrient supplements from his emergency pack. His research indicates human food contains compounds compatible with his digestive system, but sharing meals holds deeper significance in their culture than mere sustenance. It implies trust and community, concepts the hegemony considers evolutionary weaknesses. Seeing little alternative without raising suspicion, Zextrol joins them. The family engages in an information exchange ritual they call conversation, sharing observations from their day. Most surprising is their inclusion of him in this process, requesting his perspectives despite his supposed foreign origin. What brought you to our mountains? Thomas asks, passing a dish of starchy vegetables. Zextrol recites his prepared narrative about being a researcher from a distant university. I study adaptive behaviors in isolated communities, he explains, a truth wrapped in necessary deception. Emma looks up from her meal with unexpected perception. You watch everything so carefully, the child observes, like you're seeing it all for the first time. Sarah laughs. Emma has always been observant. She notices patterns others miss. This casual statement sends alarming ripples through Zextrol's threat assessment. If even human juveniles possess advanced pattern recognition capabilities, their potential for technological advancement may exceed all previous models. Later that night, while the family sleeps, Zextrol carefully extracts a blood sample from Emma's medical testing kit, the one Sarah uses to monitor her daughter's recovery. Using miniaturized equipment from his survival pack, he analyzes the genetic material. Remarkable adaptability at the cellular level, he records quietly. Human immune systems show evidence of thousands of evolutionary challenges, creating a generalized defense mechanism unlike specialized systems of other species. They appear biologically designed to survive virtually anything. A soft noise interrupts his analysis. Sarah stands in the doorway, her expression unreadable. That's not a standard blood glucose test, she says calmly. Zextrol freezes, calculating the probability of maintaining his cover. Before he can respond, Sarah steps forward. I'm a nurse practitioner. I recognized your medical techniques when you helped Emma. No first aid course teaches those methods. She crosses her arms. I don't know who you really are or where you're from, but you helped my daughter when her infection wasn't responding to treatment. That buys you some trust, but not unlimited. The scout considers his options. In hegemony protocols, discovery necessitates immediate termination of witnesses, yet something in Sarah's calm assessment gives him pause. Your hypothesis is correct, he admits carefully. I am not what I appear to be. Rather than fear, Sarah's expression shows something unprecedented in his encounters with potential conquest species, intellectual curiosity. Then perhaps, she suggests, we should have an honest conversation about why you're really here. Zextrol stands beside Thomas on the construction site, his disguised form mimicking human movements as they install support beams for a new community center. His arrangement with Sarah remains a careful balance. He's confirmed his extraterrestrial origin to her alone, while maintaining his cover story for others. In exchange for limited medical knowledge to help Emma, Sarah provides him with protection and cultural guidance. Hand me that level, would you? Thomas asks, gesturing toward a simple measuring tool. The scout complies, marveling at how humans still rely on manual calibration when automated systems would be more efficient. Yet he's noticed something remarkable about their inefficient methods. They're surprisingly resilient. When power failures occur, work continues uninterrupted. When digital plans become inaccessible, humans simply draw new ones from memory. You're picking this up quickly, Thomas comments, nodding at the beam Zextrol has perfectly aligned. You sure you were just a researcher before? I have studied many construction methods, Zextrol answers truthfully. He's observed building techniques across 17 planets, though always as prelude to their conquest. A sudden shout interrupts their work. Across the site, a support column begins to collapse, the steel framework buckling under unexpected pressure. Workers scatter as concrete and metal shift ominously. "There's someone trapped under there," a voice calls out. Without hesitation, Thomas sprints toward the danger. Zextrol's risk assessment algorithms calculate a 74% probability of additional collapse. The logical response would be to maintain distance until the structure stabilizes. Yet he watches in astonishment as humans rush toward, rather than away from danger. Thomas and 3 others reach the trapped worker, a young man pinned beneath a fallen beam. Standard rescue equipment proves inadequate. The space is too confined for their hydraulic tools. The beam's too heavy. One worker shouts in frustration. What happens next validates Zextrol's most alarming reports. Thomas glances around, spots an abandoned vehicle, and immediately begins disassembling its axle system. Within minutes, the humans convert automotive parts into an improvised leverage device that no engineer had designed for this purpose. Zextrol's scanner reads the trapped human's vital signs fading. The improvised rescue should take too long. Yet the human's stress hormones trigger a physiological response that his instruments can barely measure. Their muscle efficiency increases by nearly 30%, allowing them to lift weight that should exceed their biological capabilities. When the injured worker is finally freed, Zextrol observes another anomaly. Despite having no genetic relationship to the injured human, the rescuers show identical neurochemical responses to those he'd observed in Sarah when Emma was ill, deep empathic connection, driving them to risk their own survival for another. That evening, in the privacy of his temporary quarters, Zextrol reviews the day's recordings with growing concern. The implications are troubling. Hegemony conquest strategies rely on predictable responses to threats. Species either fight with available technology or flee to preserve themselves. Humans do neither. They improvise new solutions and willingly sacrifice individual survival for collective success. Most concerning, today's observations suggest humans don't merely cooperate within family units. Their empathic responses extend to their entire species, creating the potential for global coordination against external threats. Urgent update to threat assessment. Zextrol records quietly. Standard conquest protocols may provoke unprecedented unification response among humans. Their technological limitations are rendered largely irrelevant by their adaptive capabilities. Most concerning observation. When confronted with supposedly superior force, humans appear programmed not to surrender, but to innovate. He pauses, adding a final observation that will alarm Hegemony Command. They don't fear what they don't understand. They become fascinated by it. This makes them uniquely dangerous when encountering advanced technology. They don't worship it. They take it apart to see how it works. The mountain air grows colder as Zextrol watches the approaching vehicles with mounting concern. His communication equipment, now disassembled and hidden among the rocks, has served its purpose. The encrypted data burst containing his comprehensive assessment of humanity is already traveling through subspace toward the waiting Hegemony fleet. He hadn't anticipated human signal detection capabilities at this level. His transmission used frequencies that should be imperceptible to their current technology. Yet somehow they've traced him. Unanticipated technological development. He records in his personal log. Hypothesis. Humans are advancing at accelerated rates in specific domains, particularly those related to detection of external threats. The scout surveys his limited options. His combat capabilities would be sufficient against ordinary humans, but these aren't ordinary humans. The vehicle's markings and equipment suggest specialized military units. Based on his observations of human tactical adaptability, engaging them directly would be unwise. Zextrol activates his emergency beacon, signaling the Hegemony fleet that his cover may be compromised. The response is immediate, but offers no extraction. Maintain position. Collect additional intelligence on human military response patterns. Your capture scenario provides valuable tactical data. The cold calculation is expected but lands differently now. After weeks among humans, Zextrol understands what his superiors cannot. These beings don't behave according to predictable patterns. Each human seems capable of independent tactical assessment and improvisation. The vehicles halt at the base of the ridge. 8 humans emerge, their movements disciplined and coordinated. Their equipment includes thermal scanning devices that will easily penetrate his holographic disguise. More concerning, they carry weapons far more advanced than the civilian firearms he encountered earlier. These appear to use directed energy principles that the hegemony believed were beyond human development. Final observation before potential capture. Zextrol records quietly. Humans compartmentalize technological development. Civilian and military capabilities show significant disparity, suggesting deliberate information control structures. This contradicts their apparent individualistic social organization. As the humans begin their ascent toward his position, Zextrol notices something remarkable. Though they haven't visually identified him, their formation suggests they've accurately predicted his likely behavior. They've positioned themselves to cut off escape routes that would be logical choices for most species: high ground, dense cover, water access points. They're not just tracking me, he realizes with alarm. They're anticipating me. This suggests pattern recognition capabilities far exceeding preliminary assessments. The humans are learning from each encounter, adapting their strategies in real time. A transmission from the hegemony fleet interrupts his thoughts. Extraction not possible. If capture imminent, activate terminal protocol. The order confirms what Zextrol already suspected. The hegemony considers him expendable. The terminal protocol would destroy his body and all remaining technology, preventing humans from obtaining biological samples or functional alien technology. Yet as he watches the humans methodically closing in, Zextrol hesitates. His time with the Mason family has revealed complexities about humanity that the hegemony cannot comprehend through distant observation. If these humans wanted him dead, they could have targeted him from a distance. Instead, they're attempting capture, perhaps seeking understanding rather than elimination. The scout makes a decision unprecedented in his long career. He deactivates the terminal protocol and carefully arranges his remaining equipment on the rocky ground. As the first human crests the ridge, weapon raised but not firing, Zextrol slowly raises his hands in what he's learned is a universal human gesture of surrender. "I believe," he says in carefully practiced English, "we have much to discuss about your planet's future." The containment facility buzzes with activity as scientists and military personnel work around the clock. Zextrol sits in an observation chamber specifically modified to accommodate his physiological needs. The humans have been surprisingly attentive to details, adjusting atmospheric composition, light wavelengths, and even gravity settings to approximate his homeworld conditions. Director Chen slides another satellite image across the table. "We detected gravitational anomalies at the edge of our solar system 3 months ago. Your fleet, I presume." Zextrol nods, still marveling at how quickly the humans piece together information from fragmentary data. The hegemony maintains strict communication protocols. They will become concerned by my prolonged silence. And then, General Williams asks from the corner of the room, his weathered face revealing nothing. "Standard procedure would be to accelerate the timeline," Zextrol explains. "The hegemony conquers through overwhelming force applied simultaneously across all major population centers. Instead of the expected fear, the human military officers exchange glances that contain something else. Determination, perhaps even anticipation. The scout has learned that humans possess an unusual psychological trait. They perform most effectively when facing seemingly impossible odds." The door opens, and Thomas Mason enters with Sarah and Emma. Their presence here still confounds Zextrol. In any rational military structure, civilians would be excluded from high-security facilities. "You requested to see them," Director Chen asks. "They deserve to understand," Zextrol responds. He turns to the family. "You harbored me without knowing what I was. I need to know why." Thomas shrugs, the simple gesture containing complex meaning. You were injured and alone in a strange place. What else would we do? Most species would protect their own first, Zextroll counters. Sarah steps forward. When you helped Emma, you risked exposure. That told me everything I needed to know about your character, regardless of your species. This exchange draws interested looks from the officials present. Zextroll realizes they're studying this interaction carefully, gathering insights about his psychology and culture. Emma approaches the transparent barrier separating them. Are there children like me where you come from? The question catches him off guard. The Drachthian reproductive cycle is different. Our offspring mature in communal education centers, not family units. That sounds lonely, Emma says simply. Her observation strikes Zextroll with unexpected force. Throughout his long career, he's never considered the emotional implications of hegemony social structures. General Williams clears his throat. Let's focus on immediate concerns. Our deep space arrays confirm your fleet's approach. We have perhaps 2 weeks before they reach Earth orbit. What are we facing? Zextroll activates the holographic projector they've permitted him to retain. A 3-dimensional image of the hegemony battle fleet materializes. Massive ships designed to overwhelm planetary defenses through sheer scale and firepower. 300 conquest vessels, each carrying troops and terraforming equipment. Their shields operate on phase-shifting principles that make conventional weapons ineffective. Their strategy is standardized. Simultaneous strikes on population centers to force immediate surrender. The humans absorb this information with remarkable calm. Instead of collapsing into despair or chaos, they immediately begin analyzing weak points and potential countermeasures. If we can capture one of their smaller vessels, a young scientist suggests, we might be able to reverse engineer their shield technology. Their communication systems likely have exploitable security vulnerabilities, adds a cybersecurity specialist. Zextroll watches in growing amazement as the humans rapidly formulate strategies that even he hadn't considered. They don't think like the hegemony. They don't seek the most direct application of force. Instead, they look for creative solutions, unexpected angles of attack, and adaptive strategies. You truly believe you can resist the hegemony? Zextroll asks, genuinely curious. General Williams gives him a thin smile that contains neither joy nor humor, just pure determination. Throughout our history, someone has always said we couldn't win. They've always been wrong. The command center's massive display screens show real-time battle data as hegemony ships descend through Earth's atmosphere. The humans have converted a mountain facility into their war headquarters, built deep enough to withstand orbital bombardment. Zextroll stands beside Dr. Ramirez, analyzing biological countermeasure results as reports flow in from around the globe. New Delhi reports successful shield penetration, announces a communications officer. Their modified electromagnetic pulse devices are working. Zextroll nods with surprised approval. The humans have adapted his technical insights with remarkable speed, creating weapons that exploit specific weaknesses in hegemony defense systems. Traditional military doctrine would have taken years to implement such changes. Humans accomplished it in days. Tokyo defense line is holding, reports another officer. Casualties are high, but they've disabled 2 destroyer-class vessels. The scout watches General Williams coordinating the global response. The humans' political divisions, which Zextroll had initially identified as a strategic weakness, have vanished in the face of external threat. Former adversaries now share resources and intelligence with seamless efficiency. It's remarkable, Zextroll observes to Dr. Ramirez. Your species has no unified government, yet you function as one organism during crisis. The scientist smiles grimly as she adjusts parameters on a biofilter designed to neutralize hegemony pathogens. Humans are strange that way. We fight amongst ourselves constantly until someone else threatens us. Then we remember we're all human first. A warning klaxon interrupts their conversation. Supreme Commander Vexcor's face appears on the main screen. The first direct communication from the hegemony flagship. Attention Earth defenders. The commander's translated voice booms. Your resistance exceeds predicted parameters but remains futile. Surrender now and accept standard subjugation protocols. General Williams steps forward. We've studied your standard protocols, Commander. They're not acceptable to us. The hegemony commander's expression shows genuine surprise, a rare emotion for his species. You have disabled 17 vessels and neutralized our biological agents. This exceeds the capabilities of any previous conquest target. The hegemony offers modified terms in recognition of your unusual capabilities. We're not interested in terms, Williams responds. We're interested in your complete withdrawal. The demand is met with silence. In hegemony history, no species has ever successfully demanded withdrawal. Zextroll watches his former commander process this unprecedented situation. Such terms are impossible. Vexcor finally responds. The Conquest fleet cannot return without completing its mission. Emma, who has been working with scientists to analyze alien communication patterns, touches Zextroll's arm. He's lying, she whispers. There's a frequency shift in his vocal patterns. The scout nods, impressed by the child's perception. The hegemony has recall protocols, but they're only activated when conquest costs exceed resource gains. General Williams turns to the assembled team. Then we make this cost them everything. The next hours unfold with controlled chaos as humans implement their most audacious strategy. The volunteer strike team, 12 individuals from different nations, prepares for their mission aboard the captured hegemony shuttle. Using Zextroll's authentication codes and biological samples, they aim to infiltrate the command vessel itself. Captain Maya Rodriguez, the team leader, performs final equipment checks. The plan requires exact timing and offers minimal survival probability. Why would you volunteer for this? Zextroll asks her privately. Your tactical models show less than 20% survival probability. Rodriguez secures her helmet, her expression calm despite the odds. Someone has to do it. My father used to say, if not me, then who? This simple statement encapsulates what Zextroll now recognizes as humanity's most powerful and inexplicable quality, their willingness to sacrifice individual survival for collective prosperity, not through biological programming or hierarchical command, but through personal choice. As the shuttle launches toward the massive hegemony flagship, Zextroll monitors their progress from the command center, adding a new observation to his ongoing report. Most species fight hardest when cornered. Humans fight hardest when defending others. The United Planetary Council chamber falls silent as Zextroll concludes his formal address. Sunlight streams through the massive windows, illuminating delegates from nations that were bitter enemies just 18 months ago. The scout, now ambassador, finds himself still marveling at humanity's capacity for adaptation. In the aftermath of the hegemony's retreat, humans have reorganized their entire planetary governance structure while simultaneously advancing their technology at unprecedented rates. Ambassador, what can you tell us about the other species under hegemony control? Asks the representative from Kenya, her voice carrying through the chamber's perfect acoustics. There are 27 subjugated worlds, Zextroll responds. Many have been inspired by Earth's successful defense. The hegemony faces internal challenges it has never encountered before. The implications hang in the air. Humanity has not merely defended itself, it has become a symbol of resistance throughout the galaxy. Reports of rebellions on distant worlds arrive with increasing frequency, transmitted through communication channels established using salvaged hegemony technology. After the formal session concludes, Zextroll joins the Masons in a quieter chamber overlooking the city. Thomas now serves as an engineering liaison between civilian and military technology development programs. Sarah heads a xenobiology research division, studying beneficial applications of alien medical techniques. The Horizon launches tomorrow, Thomas remarks, gazing at the sprawling spacecraft facility visible on the horizon. Hard to believe we've come this far so quickly. Zextroll nods. The hegemony's models predicted it would take humans at least 50 years to develop functional faster-than-light technology. You've done it in less than 2. We had help, Sarah says, smiling at him. I provided technical guidance, the ambassador acknowledges. But the innovations that make your drive system 40% more efficient than hegemony standards, those are entirely human. Emma, now 17 and preparing to join the Horizon science team, studies a holographic display of the ship's specifications. Will they attack us again? She asks, the directness that Zex Troll has come to expect from her cutting through diplomatic niceties. The peace treaty buys time, he answers honestly. The hegemony has existed for thousands of years by adapting and overcoming challenges. They're studying you as intently as you're studying them. Then we better keep surprising them. Emma responds with the quiet confidence that characterizes her species. The following day, Zex Troll stands on the observation platform as final preparations for the Horizon's launch proceed. The massive vessel represents something unprecedented, not merely a technological achievement, but a philosophical one. Unlike hegemony ships designed for conquest, the Horizon is built for exploration and diplomacy. Captain Rodriguez, who survived the seemingly impossible mission to infiltrate the hegemony command ship, now commands Earth's first interstellar vessel. Her crew includes scientists from 30 nations and refugees from 3 alien worlds who sought asylum on Earth after the conflict. You could have destroyed us, Zex Troll observes as Rodriguez completes her pre-launch inspection. After the hegemony retreated, Earth had access to technology that could have been weaponized for counterattack. Rodriguez considers this. Some wanted to, but most of us recognize that becoming conquerors ourselves would mean losing what makes us human. This perspective, so contrary to hegemony philosophy, still challenges Zex Troll's understanding. The Drakhthian concept of victory has always been domination. Humans appear to define it differently. As the Horizon's engines ignite, creating a controlled fusion reaction more elegant than anything in the hegemony fleet, Zex Troll completes the final entry in his now famous report. The document has become required study for both human and alien diplomats, a guide to understanding the species that changed the galactic order. In the end, he writes, humanity's greatest strength is not technological but philosophical. They possess the ability to see beyond immediate advantage to longer possibilities. They fight fiercely not because they love conflict, but because they cherish connection. The hegemony sought to conquer them, but instead awoke something far more powerful, their capacity to imagine a different kind of future and then bring it into being through sheer determination.